Hello, I'm Dave and this is Logan, out once again for a walk in the countryside. Thanks for joining us. Now today we're at the village of Ogbourne St Andrew in Wiltshire. It's located about 2 miles north of Marlborough and 9 miles south of Swindon. The A346 passes on its eastern side. And we're going to be walking a roughly 5-mile circular route. We'll start off in the village and then head north to the tiny hamlet of Southend, just to the south of Ogbourne St George. We'll then head east, crossing the main road, and then a disused railway line, continuing along a small section of the Ridgeway. And then just after crossing a Roman road, we'll change direction and head south to Poulton Downs. And our homeward leg takes us west back to the village. There should be lots to see and some amazing views. Now I'm filming in the middle of August. The sun is starting to break through from the clouds, so it should be a perfect day for walking. Do come along with us. Okay, well, we'll start off our walk with a little look around the village, and what better place to begin than the church, which is just behind me here. And it's the Church of St Andrew. It has origins from the 12th century. The nave and arcades were built between 1130 and 1150. The chancel was built in the 13th century. The west tower was added in the 15th century, I think round about 1440, when the nave was rebuilt. There was a big restoration between 1847 and 1849. And the south porch was rebuilt in 1914. I think it's got 5 bells. And in the churchyard there's a fascinating Bronze Age Barrow just on the sort of eastern side of the church. Now, as far as the history of the village is concerned, the name was recorded in the Domesday Book as Ogbourne, which I think included both Ogbourne St Andrew and Ogbourne St George to the north. I'm not 100% sure. The original name, Occo or Ocker, I believe, is a personal name, and burn means spring or stream. Well, let's continue with a little wander through the village. Well, I've made my way to the eastern side of the village, right next to the main road, and this is the Silks on the Downs pub. Now, originally there was just a beer house in the village here called the Axe and Compass. A proper inn was built next door to it in around about 1850 called the Wheat Sheaf, and it shows on a 1900s map. The two businesses ran side by side until the 1930s, and by 1937 the Axe and Compass had closed. It became a rental property for a while, but was demolished completely in the 1950s to make way for a car park for the Wheat Sheaf. The Wheat Sheaf name was changed to the Silks on the Downs in 2005, although I see the cottage next door is still called the Wheat Sheaf. I was reading that it's now owned by the local community and run by a publican. Just crossing over the River Og. What a brilliant name for a river. It's only 1.9 miles long and it rises near Draycott Foliot to the north and flows south to join the River Kennet at Marlborough. And it's very much a winterbourne, so it's dry in the summer months, as it is today. Beautiful building here with the white paint and the thatch, I believe is the old forge, which dates to the 17th century. And look at these houses here, gorgeous. I love the roses growing up the side of the wall there. Oh, isn't that gorgeous? The old cottage thatched, which I believe dates to the late 16th century or early 17th century. And that's Snail Cottage, which I was reading originates to the 17th century. And there's the old school, which I can just see through the other side of that hedge. It's got certainly the evidence of a school on the top of the roof there, hasn't it? Oh, I love this one, the yellow cottage, and indeed it is painted very light yellow colour. Okay, well, we're now going to leave the little village of Ogbourne St Andrew and head northwards along a byway. Takes us into the countryside. The byway seems to go from Wet Pits Lane for those folk that might be doing this walk after watching the video. Well, just as we're heading northwards, a little pit stop to take in the view looking over to the east. The main Marlborough to Swindon road is in that valley. You can probably just hear the noise in the background. Well, there is a little bit of blue sky ahead. Oh, fingers crossed this cloud will lift and we'll see a bit of sunshine. Another little view, this time looking over to the west from the byway. The crops yet to be harvested. I think it's barley looking from here, and still got that glorious golden colour to it. You know, it's funny how life goes, isn't it? Many years ago, I used to travel along that Marlborough to Swindon road fairly regularly, passing by this. Of course, I never realised how beautiful it was either side of the road. Well, this is as far north as I'm going to go on the route. I'm going to start heading eastwards now, joining the Ridgeway, and going to go through a little place called Southend. Ogbourne St George is just a little bit further northwards from here. It's coming into Southend and passing over the River Og once more. Again, this time of year, completely dry. Passing through the little settlement of Southend. Look at this, Badger's Rest. I believe it originates the 17th century. I see it's up for sale. I wonder how much it's up for. What do you reckon? Phew, now the sun's out, it's beginning to get quite warm, but I've got plenty of water for myself and Logan. So we're now on a section of the Ridgeway, which is one of the UK's oldest trails and tracks. I believe it's now a national trail. It's 87 miles long and goes from Avebury over to the west to Ivinghoe Beacon in Buckinghamshire in the east. Well, now we're on the sort of eastern side of the road. I think we're going to get some even better views. So this is looking to the north, and it really has that beautiful summer's day feel, that's for sure. We're just passing by the remnants of an old railway bridge. It's a disused railway line, originally the Swindon, Marlborough and Andover Railway that was built in 1881. And there was a station at Ogbourne St George to the north of here, just called Ogbourne. The line eventually became part of the Midland and South Western Junction Railway, and it all closed in 1961. And the section here is a cycle route today. We're still heading eastwards, but this is looking to the north. We've just crossed a road. It's a dead straight road, and sure enough, it's been built on top of an old Roman road. I think originally the Roman road was linking Winchester, Andover and Cirencester. Well, we're shortly going to join a byway that's going to take us southwards, but from the side of this little ridge looking north, the views are quite breathtaking. Well, we had to make our way through this lot, but you just walk confidently along the footpath and circumnavigate them, and just as we came to the gate, just very slowly walked by, and they did leave us alone. It's always difficult when you've got a dog, I know, but it's just a case of acting confident and not doing anything quickly, and they were just curious more than anything else. So a little update on the route. This is as far east as we're going to go. So there's the, well, I say bridleway that we've come through that field, but I doubt a horse has been along there for many a year. And now we're going to pick up this track that's going southwards towards a farm. We've just passed through a farm, Bytham Farm I think it's called, and as you can see we've come to a sort of crossroads of tracks and byways. We could do a little detour to the west to check out a trig point, but I think we'll carry on southwards. So this is as far south as we go. We're now going to pick up a track that's going to take us back to Ogbourne. Interesting, just by this signpost here, there's what looks like a memorial stone. It's got the initials CHS 1895 to 1915. There is an information sheet, but you can't really read it. Captain Charles Hamilton, and then his surname begins with an S. Looks like he was in the British Army and was a war poet. I'll see if I can find some more information on the internet. Oh, I know I keep on about these views, but when you get a day like today, with the crops gently wafting in the wind, and the sunshine and the colours, you've just got to soak it all in, because so much of the year can be damp and miserable. Whereas days like today, quite idyllic. Our crop of maize here on my right. It's not doing too badly. So often on walks over the last few weeks, any maize that I've seen has looked as though it's got weeks to grow. But this is looking in quite good nick. I'm conscious I haven't shown you that many views to the south today, so let me put that right. See, there's a combine harvester out in the fields there, and just beyond, that must be the outskirts of Marlborough, I guess. Well, we're very close to the main road now. You can probably hear the noise in the background, and this is where we meet up with that old railway line again. Now, although Ogbourne St Andrew never had a railway station, there was a siding roughly about here, specially built to load and unload racehorses. There were a number of racehorse stables nearby. Indeed, just on the other side of the road at the hamlet of Ogbourne Maisie, I think there's a racing yard. Certainly looking at all the maps, there are loads of gallops on the other side of the road. Well, we may not have had a dog dip today, but we have found some blackberries. Yeah, I'm going to pick them. We're going to have to get Daddy to pick them. There we go. They're slightly bigger than the last ones we saw on our last walk. What about that? Yeah, good boy. And here we are back at the Silks on the Downs pub, which I see is open, so well, we ought to pop in there purely for research purposes for the video, shouldn't we? Well, here we are in the beer garden of the Silks on the Downs pub, just testing out their ale. Oh, lovely. I've been looking forward to that. And they've got Logan's favourites, pipers. You wake up? I thought that might wake you up. A few more to keep you going. Well, we hope you enjoyed our walk today. If you did, please do give us a thumbs up and a like, and do leave a comment, and do check out our Facebook page, Dave's Countryside Walks. Always put some photos there and also a map of the route. So until we meet again, thanks for watching, and cheerio. Good boy. Oh yes.